Why is it called pickleball? From its humble origins on Washington State's Bainbridge Island in 1965, pickleball has become one of the 2020's fastest-growing sports. The number of participating players around the globe has reportedly increased more than 300% in recent years, and almost 20 million people now play regularly in the United States alone. The International Olympic Committee is even apparently interested in making it a future Olympic event. There's a chance you've heard of pickleball or even played a round or two, which may have made you wonder, where did that weird name come from? If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more fun stories, and let us know in the comments if you've ever played pickleball. The invention of pickleball. According to the official story, pickleball was invented by Washington State Representative Joel Pritchard and his neighbors in July 1965. The friends were looking for an outdoor game that they and their families could play together, using the random assortment of kit and other few bits and pieces of sporting paraphernalia that they had at their disposal. But to hear Frank Pritchard tell it, that's not quite accurate. Pickleball was created, he says, to keep him from complaining while they were vacationing on Bainbridge Island. I was whining. I told Dad there was nothing to do, Frank, who was 13 that summer, told Mental Floss in 2021. He said, when we were kids and we would come over here we would make games up. And I said, oh really? Why don't you go make a game up? Pritchard and a couple of neighbors decided to do just that. Using an old badminton court as a playing area, the group found a wiffle ball, a kind of perforated plastic baseball to play with, and a set of ping-pong paddles to hit it with. Then they drew up a makeshift set of the rules, and their new game was officially invented. But it didn't yet have a name. Dog versus boat. Another oft-told story about the origin of the name pickleball is that it came from a dog named Pickles that belonged either to the Pritchards or one of their neighbors. But that's not true. The Pritchards did have a dog named Pickles, but they didn't get him until a couple of years after the game had been invented, and in fact he was named after the game. A Pritchard family member, however, did come up with the moniker, Joel's wife, Joan. I said it reminded me of the pickle boating crew where oarsmen were chosen from the leftovers of other boats, she recalled in 2008. My mom grew up in a small town in Ohio called Marietta, but it's a college and had a big crew program, Frank explained in 2021. She liked crew, and when my father met her and they moved out to Seattle, UW had a big crew program. They had a term for a pickle boat, which is a boat filled with all the leftover rowers. Apparently, since the game was a little bit of this and a little of that, Frank says, she thought pickleball would be a good name. If that's the case, where did the original pickle boat get its name? Unfortunately, that's a somewhat tougher question to answer. There is at least a theory that these pickle boat races date back to mid-19th century England, where a jar of pickles was supposedly awarded to the team that came in last. Because the pickle boat team had never rowed together before, they rarely fared well in the competition, and ultimately came to be named after the prize they so frequently took home. An alternative theory suggests the name comes from the fishing industry, where the last boat to get back to port was made to stay out at sea to pickle the fish in brine. As ingenious as these ideas are though, there appears to be little contemporary evidence to back them up. Instead, most of the early recorded references to a pickle boat in English refer not to a vessel for rowing, but to a container for actual pickle, in the same way that a gravy boat is a container for gravy. From there, the term seems to have become used as a kind of joke for any poor-quality ship in turn-of-the-last-century slang, and in doing so inspired a longer expression, Chauncey or Willie off the pickle boat, that came to be used for anyone who appeared lost, disheveled, or sort of like the turnip truck, hopelessly naive. From there, it's easy to see how a byword for a crude boat of unsophisticated people might in turn have become a word for a similarly crude crew of rowers. And finally, a hastily assembled, but still fun, game. Who invented pickleball? Well, pickleball was invented by Washington State Representative Joel Pritchard and his neighbors Bill Bell and Barney McCallum on Bainbridge Island in July 1965. Was pickleball named after a dog? No, the name pickleball was actually a reference to pickle boats from crew. Like pickleball, which used pieces of equipment from several other sports, pickle boats were full of rowers from different teams. The motley crews of pickle boats ultimately inspired the name of the equally randomly assembled game of pickleball. What equipment do you need to play pickleball? Pickleball is played on a badminton-sized court with a hollow, perforated ball and paddles. The net should be 36 inches high on the sides and 34 inches high in the middle. It can be played in a singles or doubles format. When is the pickleball season? The season lasts from May to early November, but since it can be played outdoors and indoors, you can technically enjoy a round of pickleball all year long.